Hello, my name is Mitul Jain and I will be your guide for the duration of this tutorial. In this tutorial we will be learning about logic gates. So let us start by introducing what is a logic gate. So why are they called as logic gates? Why not jobs or something else? Well, were they invented by Mr. Bill Gates? No. Then why are they called as logic gates? Well, it is simple. Because a logic gate in actual resembles with an actual gate. Let us assume a gate of a fort. So what is the function of a gate of a fort? The function of a gate of a fort is to let the friends in while blocking access to the enemies at the same time. That is, the gate has received a set of instructions, a set of logic from the king that who is a friend and who is an enemy, and the purpose of the gate is to keep the enemies away while letting the friends in. Similarly, in digital logic, the function of a gate is to input a signal and match it with the predefined logic, and if it matches then output the signal, else output a 0. That is, uh, each of these gates, a NOT gate, AND gate, OR gate, have their own predefined logic inbuilt, and they take one or two inputs and matches the inputs with the predefined logic. If the inputs and the logic matches, only then they output 1, else they output 0. So we will see it in a few minutes in detail. Let us start by a NOT gate. A NOT gate takes an input and outputs its negative or its inverse. That is, it takes 0 and it outputs 1. If it takes 1, it outputs 0. It is a simple gate. Whatever the input is, it just reverses it as the output. So its truth table would rather be easy. Say A is the input, the output would be, the output would be, if it is 0, the output would be 1. If input is 1, the output would be 0. A NOT gate or a negation has various symbols to represent it. Say input is A, then the output of the NOT gate can be not A, not A, not A, or there are several other notations. While for the duration of this course we will be using this particular notation to denote a reverse or inverse of a signal. And the next gate is an AND gate. An AND gate inputs two inputs and gives one output. What it does is it checks if both the inputs are true. Only then the output will be true. If any of the input is false, the output will be false. So its truth table would be somewhat like this. If A and B both are false or both are 0, the output would be 0. If either of A or B is 0, then output will again be 0. Only when both are 1, the output would be 1. So only the output will only be 1 only when both A and B are 1. And is represented in with several notations as well. A and B, or A and B, or A and B. for the duration of this course we will be using this particular notation to denote A and B. Let's check the OR gate. A OR gate is uh, somewhat similar to AND gate, except that it allows the signal when either of A or B is 1. That is, if it is A and it is B and it is output, if even a single of A or B is 1, then the output would be 1. Only when both are 0 or both the inputs are off or both the inputs are false, only then the output would be 0. And the denotation of OR is A or B, A or B, or A or B. For the duration of this course we will be using this particular denotation to denote OR gate. The NAND gate is simply a series of AND gate and NOR gate, AND gate and NOT gate arranged in a serial manner. For example, let it be A and this B, then the output at this portion would be A and B, and this negation would just inverse the input, that is A, B, and when passed through a NAND gate would be A and B whole's negation. So its truth table would be somewhat like this: A, B, A and B, A and B's negation. So 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. A and B would be 0, it would be 0, it would be 0, it would be 1. Its negation would be 1, 1, 1 and 0. So that is a NAND gate. A NOR gate is similarly a OR gate with a NOT. That is a OR gate with a NOT gate. Here it is A, here it is B, here it is the output. The output at this point would be A or B. The output at this point would be A or B's negation. Truth table: A, B, A or B, A or B's negation. When both are 0, or A or B would definitely be 0. Even when one is, either of them is 1, output would be 1. Both of them are 1, well and good. And the negation would be simply inverse of the previous output. So this would be the truth table of NOR gate. Now here comes an interesting gate, that is the XOR gate. The function of a XOR gate is to allow the input only when both the inputs are different. That is, A and B must be different, only then its output would be 1. So let us draw its truth table first. So when both A and B are different, only then its output would be 1. When both are same, its output would be 0. So now with this truth table in hand, we will try to make its XOR gates diagram or XOR gates logic circuit using previously seen gates, AND gate, OR gate, NAND gate, NOR gate, NOT gate. We will use those gates to make the diagram for XOR gate. So this particular method can be used to make the diagram for any equation, any boolean expression you have. So first let us see that this particular diagram has two inputs, and inputs are A and B, and we will one by one check for each of these conditions. When all the four conditions are set to true, that diagram would be assumed to be complete. So let us first try to make the first condition as true, that is when A and B both are 0, the output should be 0. Well, this is a pretty simple uh, assumption. You can use AND gate, OR gate, or any gate to this. Let's say I am assuming an AND gate for this. When A is 0, B is 0, the output must be 0, that is true. The second condition is if A is 0 or B is 1, then the output must be 1. When A is 0 and B is 1, then the output must be 1. Okay, so we can use a NOT gate here. So in that case, if A is 0, if A is 0 at this point, A would be 1 at this point, and when B is 1, the output would be 1. So this condition set trues for this particular diagram. Let's recheck if our first condition still holds good. If I pass 0 from here and I pass 0 from here, the output should be 0. 0, 1, 1 and 0 is always 0. Yes, so these two conditions have been fulfilled. Now check the third condition. Third condition is when A is 1 and B is 0, the output must be 1. So in this particular diagram, let's change the input. We are sending 1 by A. At this point it becomes 0. Okay, and when A is 1 and B is 0, the output must be 1, right? So we can use one negative here as well. So when B is 0, the negative of 0 would be 1. Okay, now the condition, okay, now 1, okay, still the condition does not hold true. When we pass 1 through A, it becomes 0 at this point. So we need something more to this diagram. Probably what we can do is we can use an OR gate. So if we look closely at the truth table, if both are different, then the output is 1. If both are same, then the output is 0. So that means if one is 0 and other is 1, irrespective of their order, the output must be 1. So I guess there is a good way to make this. We are right until this part. The part we have designed until this is absolutely good. What we can do is we can just replicate this part for B as well. That is, let's make another and use a NOT gate for B, right? So what we are trying to do is say if A is 0 and B is 1, the inverse would become 1 and 0, right? So the output must be 1. So let's add a OR gate here, either of the two. Okay, yes, now it appears to be good. So what we are doing, we have done this because if 0 or 1, if A is 0 and B is 1, we have negated them, that is 0 and 1 becomes 1 and 0. Still in that case one of them is still 1. Okay, irrespective whether A is 0 or B is 0, one of them has to be 1 and their negation would always be 1, and we are passing this via a OR diagram, OR gate, so that output would be 1 in this case. So only in the cases of 0 0 and 1 1 the output would be 0, because when it is 0 and it is 0, the output here would be 0. When it is 0, it is 0, the output here would be 0, hence the output would be 0. When here it is 1, here it would be 0. When here it is 1, when both are 1, then obviously one of the gate would negate them, so at both the terminals we would have 0 0, so output would again be 0. So this is the way we can do it with AND and OR gates. Similarly we can do it with only NAND gates or only NOR gates, means we can use any combination. The circuit would get a little bit lengthy, however we can attain the same using any number of any type of gates. Let's come to XNOR gate. XNOR gate, exactly as you might have already guessed, is the XOR gate with the reverse. The symbol for XOR gate is this A XOR B, right? So the symbol for XNOR would be A XOR B negation. So 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1, the XOR would be 1 for here, sorry, both are 0, it should be 0, either of 1 is 1, either of 1 is 1, both are 1, it should again be 0, and its inverse is quite simple, 1 0 0 1, right? So now we have to inverse the previous diagram. Now we need to have, if both are same, then output should be 1. If both are different, then output should be 0. Okay, if both are same, then output, let's try by let's start by drawing A and B. Come to first condition. If it is 0 and B is also 0, the output should be 0. Again we can use any gate. Let me AND gate. If it is 0, it is 0, the AND result would be 0. If A is 0 and B is 1, the output should be 1. If A is 0 and B is 1, right, I can use the negation here. If A is 0, it will become 1 here, and B is already 1, the output would be 1. If B is 1, sorry, if A is 1 and B is 0, the output should be 1 as well. If A is 1, okay, probably I should add another gate here. If A is 1 and B is 0, the output should be 1. Okay, this should satisfy this condition, and both are obviously connected with an OR gate. And if both are 1, the output should be 0, right? If this is 1, output would be 0, and if B is 1 and if both are 1, it would be 0 and 1 above, and here it would be 1 and 0. So yes, this holds true for all the conditions. Let's recheck once. If both are 0, if A is 0, it would turn 1 here, B is 0, 1 and 0 would be 0, right? And similarly 0 and 1 would again be 0. This condition sets true. 0 1 should be 1, 0 becomes 1 here, 1 is already here, 1 1 or anything would obviously 1, so this condition also sets true. 1 and 0 should be 1. If a is 1 and b is 0, it becomes 1 here, it is 1, and so anything or 1 is always true, so this condition sets true. If both are 1, then output should be 0. If it is 1, the output would become 0. If it is if both are 1, the output should be 0. If a is 1, output would be 0. Here it would be 1, 0 and 1 would be 0, and here it would be 1, while b would become 0, output would be 0. So yes, this XNOR gate is absolutely correct. It fulfills all the functional requirements of the truth table. So these were the gates. Now let us try to build any gates. Let me write anything, a plus b dot c, probably dot d, right? Okay, maybe plus e. Okay, so this is the expression we have to build a diagram for. Let us start by the inner expression. Well, you can start it in either way. I feel much more comfortable going with the inner expression. So now in this particular case, let me assume this. In this particular case, B and C has been ORed with A. So let us start by building the inputs first. B and C are, the output of B and C has been ORed with A. So let me assume A is here. The output for B and C has been ORed with A, and the output of this expression has been AND with D, right? And the output of this expression has been the output of this expression has been ORed with E. So this is the way you can make diagram. Any expression can be solved in this simple way. Had it been D bar or A bar, then the expression would have been D bar. So either we could use a NOT gate in between. Yes, I guess that would be the only way. We have to use NOT gate here. Had it been whole bar, then we can either put a NOT gate here, or we can just modify this OR gate to a NOR gate. So this is the way. However, sometimes the expressions get a lot complex. Let me erase this first. Okay, so sometimes the expressions get a bit complex. For example, let's assume a expression AB plus AC plus BD plus CD. Okay, so if we have to make its diagram, it would have been A, B, C, D. These are the inputs. So first of all we need A, B, then we would need AC, A, C, and then BD, BD, and then followed by CD, right? And all these have been odd to a common OR. So this is the expression. However, in this case, actually what I have done is I have represented it with a common OR. However, we must write three ORs, as each OR has only two inputs, so this must have been written with different ORs for each of these. However, I have, for the demonstration purpose, I have write a simple one single OR for the expression. So what I am trying to say is that this circuit is absolutely correct for this expression. However, we could have simplified the expression a little bit with the help of Boolean algebra. So what it is, let us try to solve that expression first. The expression was AB plus AC plus BD plus CD. AB plus AC plus BD plus CD. BD plus CD. So at this point of time we have not discussed the Boolean theorems. However, just see that this how simple can this be. So first of all, what we can do is we can take the common things, means let us simply try to solve it, assuming that it is an algebraic expression. What I am trying to do is I will separate out A because it is common in both the expressions, and I will separate out separate out D because it is common in both these expressions. So the expression would become A B plus C plus B plus C D. Okay, that is the law of associativity and law of distributivity. These are the same as the simple algebraic laws, that A plus B plus C can be written either ways, A plus B plus C or A plus A plus B plus C. So both are same. Now what we can do, we can use distributive law to make this expression A plus D B plus C. So this is the expression. The expression A B plus AC plus BD plus CD has been reduced to A plus D and B plus C. That is A or D and B or C. Let us make its diagram as well. A B C D, A, sorry, okay, sorry, A or D. I used A or B. Please ignore this. This is here. We need A or D, B or C, B or C with the AND gate, right? So this is the expression, and let's compare it with this. This required 1 2 3 4 and 3 OR gates, 1 2 3, so total 7 gates have been reduced to 3 gates. So this is the benefit of using Boolean expressions, Boolean algebra, to simplify the expression before actually making a diagram for it. Let's check if the expressions are same or not. Okay, uh, this can only be done using a truth table. A, B, C. Okay, I guess the truth table would be quite a long. Mm, 0 0 1 1 0 0 0. Let me try this on a separate page. Okay, this is the truth table of the previous example. A, B, C, D, output 1, output 2. Right, both the output should be same. So the truth table for both the diagrams should be same for it for the to verify if both the expressions relate to the same expression or not. Right. So let us start by this one. Say if A is 0, B is 0, if all are 0, the output is definitely 0, right? In this case, if A is 0, B is 0, C 0, D 0, the output again is 0. So in the both output 1 and output 2, all 0 will lead to 0. And second case, when all are 0 but D is 1, so when A is 0 and B is 0, this would be 0. Everything else would be 0 except for the D. Let's check where D is. D is here and D is here. Again it would be 0. It would be 0 for that. Let me write that down. For this expression, if A and B is 0, output is 0. If if A and D are 0, if A is 0 and D is 1, the output would be 1. Here output would be 0. 0 and 1 is again 0. So the output in this case would be 0 as well. Same would be the case if C is 0. Actually they all are ended with one another, so for all the cases where only one of them is 0 is obviously would be 0 for either of them. Both are 0, one is 0. Okay, this would be 0 and this would be 0. So we know for sure that these all would be 0. Now let's come to the case where C and D are 1, where C is 1 and D is 1. So this would be 1 and the output would be 1 because it is a OR gate. All other would be 0, but C and D would be 1, therefore the output would be 1. And what is in this case? In this case, C is 1 and D is 1, 1 or 0 would be 1, 1 or 0 would be 1, so output again would be 1. So in the both cases output would be 1. What if B and D are 1? If B and D are 1, then this would be 1 while all other would be 0. Again the output would be 1. And here if B is 1 and D is 1, again the output would be 1 1, 1 and 1 is again 1. So in this way we can complete the whole truth table and would find that the output's one result is exactly same as that of output 2. That means both the diagrams are absolutely copy, 1:1 copy of one another, except for that the diagram 2 is much more efficient, takes less number of gates. That means the cost of circuit would be exponentially lesser than the cost of the circuit for the first diagram that has 7 gates, and this one has 3 gates. So in production environment, the simplified diagram would of course be a competitive edge for the company. So Boolean algebra plays a vital role in defining uh, the diagrams. One must definitely solve the expression with Boolean algebra before drawing its diagram. So in the next lecture we would see details about Boolean algebra, its introduction, its theorems and laws, and the ways to solve Boolean functions. Thank you for watching. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Have a nice day.